In this video, we'll use the pattern matcher to populate props on the ceilings. Now, before we proceed, let's drop in a post-process volume and set it to infinite and control the exposure. And set the minimum value to something that you like. I prefer -4 so that it's consistent for an indoor scene like this. Alright, next up, open up the theme. So we want to decorate our ceilings with different sized ceiling props, and we have quite a few. So we have a 1x1 ceiling prop, then we have a ceiling prop that takes 2 tiles, so it's 1x2, and another one that is 1x3, which is a larger one like this pipe over here. And we also have a 2x2 that we'd like to use that looks something like this. So that would take up this whole space here. So we'll start creating rules that that match those patterns, and then they start filling up the space, the free space, as the rules run. So we need a way of tagging the free space, and once we do consume a certain space or reserve a certain space in the ceiling, we want to tag it in a certain way so that the future rules that run know that this has been taken over. And it doesn't overlap and insert something in that place. So we will start by creating a simple rule that just drops in a marker named, it could be anything. We could name it ceiling free slot, and that will be inserted in all of these places. And then the future rules where we're looking for a 1x3, for example, we will simply search for 3 adjacent tiles that have a ceiling free slot marker on them. And if they do, we insert our marker in that place and then get rid of those ceiling free slot markers so that the future ones do not overlap and create on that place. So let's get started. We're going to go to the pattern matcher, create ceiling scatter free slots, and this is going to be simple. We search for marker exist, ceiling, and if it does, go ahead and emit a marker named ceiling free slot, or we'll call it ceiling slot for short. All right, now let's get back to this and right click, create marker, add marker node, and give it that name. And let's put in a test cube here to test it out. Now if I go back to the thing, we've searched for ceiling and we've added a ceiling slot, and when we added it, its default behavior is to add it in the tile location, which is over here, but we prefer it to be over here. So previously we made a copy the ceilings into this. I'll show you another method. What I'm going to do is, in the emit marker node, instead of using the copy marker, I'm going to use this emit marker, but there is copy transform category here, and we can copy the transform from any of the other markers in this style, in this block. So we have a ceiling marker, we can copy either the rotation or the height or both from here. So we want to copy the height from the ceiling marker when we emit the ceiling slot. So we get this here. Great. This also gives us a good way to visualize these small cubes are the free slots that we will eventually use to fill them up with our larger pattern. So let us start with a 1x3. So ceiling 1x3. So let's create one real quick. Right click, add new rule, marker exist, and name this ceiling, not ceiling, we want to use this ceiling slot. So name this ceiling slot. You want to search for a free slot on the ceiling. If it exists, copy rule, paste rule, paste rule. So if you have this free slot in all these places, we want to insert our marker here, Emit Marker, (1x1). And when we do this is 1x3, Emit Marker 1x3. And when we do emit it, we want to tag these 3 slots as reserved, so that the future ones, when they're making a check along this place, we do not want them to intersect and use this. So we are going to delete, remove marker, ceiling slot, because it's no longer free now, it's been taken over. So again, you want to remove it after the emit, because we are using the okay, so we remove it, but we also need, when we are emitting a ceiling prop, we want to copy the height from the ceiling slot. So you're going to copy the height from the ceiling slot like before, and then delete it. You don't want it like this, remove and then emit. We want to first emit and use the name of the ceiling slot here to copy the height and then remove. And let's remove here as well. Okay, so you see these slots are being removed. Now let's put in our 1x3. So copy this name and head over to the theme graph, right click, dungeon, add marker node, and put in that same name. And for now, let me copy this and set the scale. So this is 100 by 100. One tile of ours is 800 by 800, and this is 3 by 1, right? Or 1 by 3, or 3 by 1 basically. So 8 into 3 is 27. Let's make it 25 maybe. Scale this up to 25. Oops. Make this one back again. Scale this to 25. Let's uncheck the lock. And yes, it's working great. And sorry, 27. This is 21, so make it 20. And make it 20, and make this maybe 3. Okay. This is a great way of visualizing it. So you see it's filling up our space here. So this is how it works. Now you look at this. If you look at this rule, we have a wall here. Switch over to the pattern matcher. We are looking for ceiling slots here, here, here. We do get a ceiling slot here, here, and over here as well. So it's creating this prop extending all the way out here, but we do not want this. We want this only to work if they're in the same height. So we have a way of fixing that. Select the rule, select this rule, and look at the rules property. And here you would see same height marker. So we can put in rules here where we enforce that a certain marker within the entire pattern range is on the same height. So we have the ceiling slots, we want them to be in the same height. And before I hit enter, notice this, it'll get fixed. So enter, and you have this. All right, real quick, let's make another one like this for 1x2. So add ceiling prop 1x2, and let's copy from here. Copy, paste, paste, and here we want to emit again, emit before removing it, so that we can copy the height. Emit marker, and we'll call it (1x2), and we want to copy the height from this marker, ceiling slot. Okay. Now let's go here and create this marker. Theme graph, right click, dungeon, add marker, give it that name, and let's copy paste this and adjust the scale. Alright, so 16, make this 15 maybe. And since we are emitting here, 15 would be something like this, going here and then somewhere in the middle. So we want to offset it maybe by 400. So 400, 600, 400 is good. Now we see that since we started, let me go back here and let me disable this and let me disable this. Now this is the first rule that runs 1x3 and it has so many free slots to work with, and it's gonna take up all of the free slots as much as it can, which is why we see that we have more 1x3s than we have 1x2s. So I'm going to enable this as well. So you have the probability variable here that you could use to, even though the pattern matches, this probability again decides whether we want to insert it or not. So I'm going to bring this down to maybe 0.1. And we have fewer of those 1x3s giving the, if I disable the 1x2s, for example, you have fewer of these taking up, and the other ones just did not apply this rule, even though it matched because of the probability. So this allows us to have more free slots down the road for the other sized props to take over. So if I go over here, the other ones, they fill it up. Again, I might want to reduce this, so maybe 0.6, so that we have the 1x1 slots as well, space for them. So 0.5. All right. Now let's put in the 1x1, which is very simple and straightforward. Same as before. Let's copy this directly. Copy, bring it here, paste. The ceiling slot, add ceiling prop 1x1. We want to change this to 1x1. And we're copying the marker height from here. And great. So now let's go ahead. We're also deleting it after to signify that this slot is taken. Let's copy this, go back to the theme graph, right click, add marker node, paste, and let's take this, select this, reset the location. We want it to be 0, 0, 0. The scale could be 4, 4. Very nice. So eventually we're going to replace these blocks with the actual assets we have, but this is great for visualizing it. All right. Again, some of them are going over. So we saw how to fix this. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, if I go back here, now in the 1x3, I gave same height markers as ceiling slots. I'm going to do the same for this rule as well. So I'm holding down shift and right click to copy this array, and hold down shift and left click to paste that array, or just put it in yourself, and that issue would be resolved. So let me remove that. You see this over here, and just add it again. So that works. We also have 2x2, so let's start with that. So one thing that really works is you start with the bigger pieces, right? And because they are large, and and they have more space to work with. The larger the piece, you need more space, for more contiguous free space for it to work with. So it's better to start with the larger pieces first, reduce their probability, so they take a few of these, and then the next larger one, and so on. So you can work like that. So I have let's create another one for 2x2 real quick. Let's go back and copy it from here. Right click, copy rule, go back to this and right click, paste, right click, paste, paste, paste. And here we want to, before I remove, I want to emit a marker. Named 2x2, and also copy the height from marker ceiling slot. Okay, we also want to run this at the beginning, so I'm going to drag drop this on top here, and I want to disable all of these to test out and isolate only this one. So we have this. Now let's go ahead and create, this marker. Add marker node. And let's copy the one from 1x2 over to 2x2 and adjust the scale and the transform. So we have this scale 1515 is good. And pushing around 400, I would push this over 400 as well. Maybe 12 looks cleaner. Okay. So we have this. Now let's go back in and enable the rest of them. And too many of these 2x2, so let's reduce the probability here, 0.1. And over here maybe 0.2. And I think this is looking good. So we go 1x2s, we go 1x3s, we go 2x2, and quite a bit of all right, now let's start adding the props. So let's start with the ceiling prop 1x1. So I'm gonna get rid of this and put in an asset that I have. I want to use this fan cage and the fan that comes with it. So let's drop this in. So let's drop this in this place. So drag drop and link it up. So we get this, but we really want to get rid of the when we do insert this, we want to get rid of the ceilings as well, right? Because they're getting in the way. So what we could do is go ahead and the 1x1, just go ahead and delete the ceiling here. Remove marker ceiling. And that is gone. And I also want to put in the mesh here, and this the frame went away because once this got inserted, we have this stop if selected for insertion checked. So I'm gonna uncheck this. So we have this now. Instead of this, it's better just go ahead and use the blueprint under the blueprint folder. It has a simple rotation movement, so when you play the game, it starts rotating and it looks nice. All right, so we have that in place. Now let's put in 1x3 maybe. Okay, so we have a prop. We have quite a few here. We will use one of them for now. Let's use this. Let's use this one. So drag drop the mesh onto your scene, and let's reattach it here. And you don't see it because it's being added on the top, so let's rotate it by 180. Oh, rotate by 180. And maybe scale it down, so select the lock and make it 0.8. And we have quite a few assets that you can go ahead and add. So we have this. Now let's go ahead and add in the 1x2s. So for the 1x2, I really like this asset. This one. Let's use this. And I'd like to move it to the side, 400. Alright, and like before, we want to get rid of the ceiling, so head over to the pattern matcher and choose ceiling prop 1x2. And when we insert it, we also want to delete the ceiling. Remove marker. And we also want to remove the ceiling from here. So remove marker. So it gets rid of the ceiling from these two tiles because we do not want it to get in the way. So all right, let's fill in the ceiling 2x2s real quick. So head over to the 2x2, and here we have this. I like to use this frame, 2x2 frame, and again rotate this by 180. And so move this aside by 100. And here we want to get rid of these ceiling tiles as well, so head over to the pattern matcher here, delete ceiling slot, delete ceiling. And move this over by another 100, so 400, 400. So here I want to use a mesh I have, and let's move this 400, 400 and rotate it by 180. It fits that frame. And I have another one, which is this. Again, select this 400 and not on the X180. So this executes stop if selected is checked. Then this executes, sorry, the first one executes stop if selected is unchecked, so it'll always go to the next one. Here stop if selected is checked, but it inserts it 100% of the time. So if I make it 0.5, it inserts it half the time, and if it does, it stops. If it does not, then moves to the next one and inserts this 100% of the time. So ceilings are looking good. Let's I see too many of these 2x2s, so let's go over here and get this down to 0.05. And that's looking great. So you have a lot more assets that you can add. If you can look at the original Foundry theme and basically use this logic to insert a few more variations of these to make it look even better. So in the next video, we'll look at decorating the ceilings with props.